Welcome, welcome. I think we're here. Yes? You can hear me? Hopefully you can hear me, everyone. All right, I think we're where we're supposed to be, when we're supposed to be, and let's just see what we can do in these next few minutes to clear up some issues. I really enjoy, thank you, Carol. I enjoy these sessions too. I think that they really help you all. If we can really hear sometimes issues that other women are having, and they're really the same issues we're having, and we can really realize that fit is not about us, it's really generic. I think that really will help us go a long way. So that was my goal in doing this, and all of it is working beautifully. So yeah, I'm really glad that you guys like it. So welcome, welcome. Okay, so I'm going to start with our first question, and we're going to go through these, and hopefully you guys can get a wrap on each one of them. Hi, Peggy. Could you talk about when you wash with Coca-Cola, what to expect, and typically whether it should be used with light-colored fabrics? So Coca-Cola has nothing, it's not going to stain your fabric, has nothing to do with the color of your fabric. It's just really, it's so misunderstood. Coca-Cola, whatever the ingredient in Coca-Cola is, it will soften your fabrics. It will just soften your fabrics. So don't worry about the color, don't worry about soap, just do it. Follow the directions and just do it. And the directions are, take a can of Coke in a front loader, pour it into the soap dispenser, put your fabric in, put your garment in, whatever it is you're wanting to soften, and wash it. That's it. Do it one time, you'll notice a massive difference. If you want to soften it a lot more, you do it over and over again. My brother-in-law does it to his overalls. His overalls rub his skin. He doesn't like how rough they are, so he washes them in Coca-Cola now. And he thinks it's the most amazing thing ever. If you have a top loader, I've heard it said put in a quart. So buy, or 2 quart, I don't know. Just put in more than you think. It's not going to come out sticky. You guys have a really bad interpretation as to what might happen. Just put it in, wash it. Don't use Diet Coke. Don't use Pepsi. Don't use anything else other than Coca-Cola. Got it? Don't make up any more directions. Don't add to this. Just keep it what it is. Okay, next. All right. And I'll watch through the questions to read to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay. She had a question before, and we answered that question about how to do a dart. And my answer was to take and move the base of it, which you can see is anchored into the side seam there, to move it down so that it gives it a little longer run. A little longer, it's just a whole mathematical thing. If you've got more length to a larger dart, then it will lay smoother. So here's her new dart. She loves it. She's thrilled with it. She's thrilled with the answer. The question is, does she now do that on other patterns? That, like 450 Nancy's top, 611, anything else that has a dart at the bust? Yes, I would do the same thing too. I wouldn't bother to make it up. You've already got a base, you've already got a muslin. Don't keep reinventing the wheel. Just go ahead and do it exactly like that. So congratulations, it looks beautiful. I'm really excited that you got it. That's the whole goal of these, is to help you all get those and not get frustrated over little things like that. They're big things, don't get me wrong, they are big things. Okay, so this is a gal who went to a workshop, and she says only 3 days, and I've already got fit questions. But I told her, I said, you know what, that is what happens, because once you start into fit, you have a tendency to think more, to learn more, to get more interesting. So, so she made a top, and it has no shoulder seams. But on another knit top, should I make the same shoulder adjustment that we made to the blouse 600? Okay, now, the question really is, and I'm just going to shorten this question for you, is the shoulder angle on a knit top we made and the shoulder angle on a 600 blouse. It was woven. Should the woven and the knit shoulder angle be the same? Yes. Knits and wovens don't have different shoulder angles. Your shoulder angle is your shoulder angle, and knits don't stretch over a shoulder angle to get it right as to wovens. So all of your shoulder angles should be the same. My next template is going to be a center front line and a perpendicular line and then a shoulder angle. And I'm kidding. It's not my template. You can do this. But you understand that once you have that template drawn, cut, whatever you want to call it, you can lay center front on every single garment you make and get that shoulder angle right away. So it's the same from knit to woven to whatever. It is always the same. So very good. Knits or wovens do not matter. They do not make a difference when you're dealing with shoulder angles. Okay, this is pattern number 1500. 1500 is our notch lapel jacket. It's the first pattern we ever came out with. We still have it in the line. It's a wonderful little jacket. It has all the bits and pieces that are wonderful. And what it does have is darts under the lapel so that the garment comes back into your body in the upper portion of your body. Okay, so having said that, she wants to shorten it, which is fine. But when she shortens it, she says it interferes with the vertical dart. That's okay. Just take the dart to the bottom of the jacket. You can't do anything else. And darts go through the hem all the time. That's nothing unusual. So go ahead and shorten it from the bottom. To make it shorter, you wouldn't shorten it internally. You would just shorten it from the bottom and you would take it off. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at pants. Pants are, okay, so pants are seemingly, you make them way harder than they are, okay? Now remember, we've only got two pieces, front and back. I mean, you might have pockets, I get all that, but you only have two pieces, ladies, two pieces. And that could be what makes them so hard. Because they can only go up or down. You can only go circumference or depth. And what I'm going to say to you is most of your issues are depth issues. You just don't understand why they can be depth issues. So we're going to look at these pants. And we're going to take a look at this first picture. And we're going to look at what's wrong with those pants. Now, let me just explain. I forgot to tell you this. This is pattern number 3200, which is Sally's pants. However, what she did is she made them now in a stretch woven. So you can't do that. I mean, you can do that, but you're going to have, it's like making a blouse in a knit. It's like making classic blouse 600 in a knit. You're going to have problems. So you can't just switch around fabrics just because they're called pants and make them whenever you need, make them whenever you want to. So if you look at that center front there, you can see all the extra right there above the crotch line, right at the crotch line. And you can see it's not at the side seam. And so you can see to the side of it, I've taken the fix and made the fix. This is a depth issue. You could take those pants in as much as you wanted to in the side seam and that would not fix it. You could do a lot of fixes to this, but you can see it's an uneven answer because she's got wrinkles at center front and they're nowhere at the side. That's depth. That's what depth is. This is a beautiful picture of depth gone awry. And mostly it's probably because of her fabric. Well, it could be it depends. But when you have she's made this out of a stretch woven, and when you have a circumference and you've gone smaller, you haven't altered the depth. And that you can't do. Okay, so now we're going to take a picture of the same pant, same problem, same pant. We're going to take a look at the back of it. Now, if you look at this picture fairly closely, you'll see that her rear end is showing into the mirror. So you can see those, I call them parentheses. And that's exactly what I call them when I'm talking about parentheses. As you can kind of see on each side of her crotch line, there's parentheses. So that's what I call them, parentheses. So when you have parentheses, parentheses are because there is too much width at the deepest part of those parentheses. Parentheses is extra fabric. What's causing that extra fabric is there's too much width right at that point. So you can see the fix to it. You can see it there. And the good news is, for the lady whose pants these are, you can take these off. You can stitch that red line and put them back on and it will fix them. This depth issue, you can fix in the crotch. So this is a really good issue for you to kind of say, hi, I can do that. I can fix that. So take your pants off, sew the crotch in, fix it. And you can pin them while they're on you and see about how much to take off. But if you bet on a 1/2 inch, you're going to be pretty close most of the time. Okay, another pants issue. Here we go. Here, this same pant, same person, same body. She's wondering about all these wrinkles on the side. And all the wrinkles on the side, if you start to notice, they're all pointing down to the front. They're pointing down to the front because her front is too long. Her front is too long because that dart has not been taken out. And once she takes that dart out, her pants are going to be so happy. They're just going to be so happy. They're going to be smiling. They're just going to be happy. So take the dart out. All the rest of the pant will follow and it will pull it up. Right now, because that front section is too long, all of it drags. In fact, it drags all the way down to the hem. The whole entire front drags because it's got too much length at center front. Okay, so we're going to take that out. Okay, and that's our pants discussion. Wasn't that fun? Oh my goodness gracious, that was fun. Okay, next question. I love the Chanel quilted leather and lace jacket that was shown on the recent webcast. I saw a similar one last year, and it was black quilted leather with a gold decorative stud in each quilted square. I've actually seen that, now that you say that. Where or how can I learn to quilt leather? Well, honestly, guys, you can just quilt leather at home. Just put something behind it that's light and just quilt it. Just quilt it on your sewing machine. You know, a lot of times when I do it, I'm going to do it from the back side so I can literally draw the lines on the lining and then just put a thin, you could, I mean, depending on how thick you want it, you could put foam, you could put batting, you could put cotton fabric, you know, you could put something that has some fleece to it, whatever, it's endless what you want. So you got to think about what the look you want, how much quilting you want, how much depth you want, and then decide. But just turn it over to the back, put the layers together, draw your lines on, and then just try it. You'd be surprised how easy it is. I think, I really do believe that a lot of us are stopped by our fear of failure. So don't quilt the leather, quilt anything, just quilt it. And you're just running your machine through, and especially when it's a collar, you're dealing with a little piece. I wouldn't try to quilt a collar. I would quilt a piece bigger than a collar and then lay the collar on it and then cut it out. So that would just be my suggestion. I you know, generally do it larger than what you need. Also saw a two-way knit that would be, I'd like to make a pair of pants. It would be possible to use my woven pants pattern to go down a little in size or two and make them fit as we would with the top patterns. Okay, see, these questions scare me. Okay, the reason they scare me is because, how do I say this? You only think in terms of circumference. You don't think about depth. You cannot go from a knit to a woven and only think about circumference when depth is the most LCD, 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 LCD. I can't say it enough. LCD. When you say, okay, I'm going to go down a couple sizes, I mean, maybe you're not saying you won't then do to make a muslin, but, you know, all of this is possible. It's possible to switch pants, wovens, and knits. You just don't, when the pant is closer to the body, so when you are using a woven pattern and you're making it out of knit, you're closer to the body, and that depth is going to be much different and needs to be tweaked. And so when you only think about circumference, what scares me is that depth is the most important part of great pant fitting. Great pant fitting has depth built in, just like those darts I just showed you, just like those little tweaks right there. That's what great pant fitting includes. And so you can start by going down a couple sizes or whatever you want to do, but I'm just hopeful that that's not the end. And you probably didn't mean that it was, but when I read that, it scares me. Okay? Okay, so this last question. I don't know if you will answer this tonight. I just thought of it. I bought the black chartreuse for leather. I know you didn't line it, but did you just do a normal hem? You know, I top stitched the hem. I top stitched the hem. I love that jacket. I actually opened up the seams. I stitched on a sewing machine. I opened up the seam and I top stitched each side of the seam because it's a faux leather, and so that's how I would stitch a leather jacket. So I opened up the seam, I stitched both sides of the seam to stitch the open seam down, and then I top stitched the hem as well. And I top stitched the sleeves up. I did all of that. I love that jacket. I want to do a trench coat. A trench coat would be fabulous. But you could line it if you don't, and if you don't want to line it, just top stitch it. Top stitch it all over the place. Okay? All right, so this question is a little involved. Okay? So we're not going to get an answer to this tonight, but if you guys stay with me, I think we will. The answer, the topic on this, or the email subject is stuck. Stuck. So, and I am glad to help you all. I really am. She is stuck. I'm having a problem. I'm draping pattern 600. I graded up to a size 6 at the bust and 7 at the hip. However, what she means is she did not use a W. She didn't think the W fit right, and so she took the 1 through 4 and graded up to a 6 and a 7. Okay, which is fine, except it's not. So I'll read you this because I want you to see the problems that she's getting into. I changed the angle of the shoulder, no big deal. Lowered the bust dart, no big deal. Added 1.5 inches for a rounded back and 2 slashes. Again, no big deal. The blouse fit really well. My problem is that when I straightened the center back so that it could be placed on the fold, I lost 3/4 of an inch for the entire back. I drew the line from the neck edge to the bottom, and when she drew that, she lost circumference. Okay, that's where I'm going to stop, because that's where I'm going to dispute this. I don't think that's true. I don't think she put the sleeve in that blouse, and I don't think that blouse gave her the mobility that she needed. And I don't think that the 7 fit her, the 6 and the 7 fit her as well as it is. And you guys, and I know it's hard. I've been doing this a long time, and I fit a lot of bodies. And she said it fits so much better than the W, but then she made all these changes. So those statements are contradicting one another, and I don't think that's the case. Now, there's nothing to a blouse. It's just circumference. The angles that we have are the shoulder angle and the bust dart. Okay, that's all there is to a blouse, is those depth issues. The armhole, if it doesn't work, I can take the armhole from any sleeve. You guys know that I can mix and match sleeves. So what it didn't say in here that I would like to know is what wasn't she happy with the W size. I think she scrapped the W size way too prematurely. To grade from the 4 to the 5 to the 6 to the 7, why wouldn't we do that? Why wouldn't we have done that? Why did we have the whole W sizing in the first place? Because it fits better. So in trying to reinvent the wheel, I honestly think this is a big mistake. And I'm really sorry to say that. So I think what happened is you were going down the road and you got stuck in the ditch, and you're in the ditch. And so to get out of the ditch, I'm going to say to you, stop. First off, pick the blouse by your bust circumference. Measure a blouse that you're wearing, measure how much ease you like, make that size. When there is something wrong with that size, ask the question. You're so far off in the ditch that you can't get out of the ditch, and nobody can help you out of the ditch. You're just too far in. So stop. You're a W. Pick the size, circumference that works. Make up that size. Stop. Period. I don't care if you have to change the angle of the shoulder. I don't care if you have to lower the bust dart. I don't care about that. But the regular size is not right for you when you have to add that much a rounded back. Okay, that's all I'm going to say on this. But you know who you are who wrote in, and I would love to kind of expound this out through this form. So because there's many of you who are doing the same thing, getting the right size is not hard, but it is important. And so sometimes we go back and forth, and we go back and forth probably more than we should. Okay? The W size, circumference-wise, fits really well. Now, having said that, let me say that sometimes the W size, the armholes and sleeves don't align with the bodies. But those are easy to change. There's some ladies who have big busts who need a W size because they have big busts, but they have little baby arms. We saw that with Laura. She went into the 6W, but she went all the way down to a size 3 when she was dealing with a sleeve and armhole. So we just attached those together. We played Mr. Potato Head. Stop worrying about the size, pick the circumference that works, and start from there. Grading from a 4 to a 6 and 7, I've never seen that in a workshop. I've never had to do that, and that's a big red flag to me. I may be wrong, but I would love to follow it through on these, you guys, so that we can all see, you know, what's going on. I am a triangle shape. It's so funny how we assess so many names to these things. Narrow at the top, but wider at the waist and hip. I think we all are wider at the hip. When I try to make your pattern size, how do I go from small size to the larger size without distorting the pattern? You just cross the lines. I mean, I don't know what pattern you're talking about, but let's say you're talking about a knit top. You just close up the French dart and just go from size, it's a straight angle line. Just cross the lines. Very easy. It's very easy. So there's no distortion of the pattern at all. You're just dealing with circumference. And when you're dealing with circumference from top to bottom, just go from size A to size B on the bottom. As long as you know how much you need, and then divide it by the number of seams you have in that garment. Hey, from Puerto Rico. I want to do a trench coat. That trench coat sounds beautiful in that fabric. Absolutely wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to open it up, you guys. We've got a couple minutes left to let you to ask any random questions. I got through everything I had. I wasn't able to use a 20 off fabric code this week. It said use too many types, but I could never. It said use too many types, but I could never enter it. I don't know. Did anybody else have a problem? We had a lot of orders, so I don't think anybody. Any problems that came in during that sale, I answered and addressed, but they weren't with the coupons. They were just with the fabric availability. Fabrics were sold out. Fabrics were gone. You know, yada yada. I wasn't able to use it. So, if you placed an order, let me know. If you didn't place an order, if we're in the middle of a fabric sale and a coupon isn't working, you should just place the sale. I mean, I'm going to honor the coupon. I hate saying that because then a lot of you just get lazy and you don't put the coupon in, and then we have to go back in and manually adjust. But I don't want you to miss out on a sale because, you know, the coupon. You know, I mean, there's weird things that happen on computers. Y'all know that. But, I mean, we got a lot of orders in. We're still shipping orders. I'm sorry to say we're behind. We're still shipping orders. But, I mean, a lot of coupon codes came in. Would the fur work for the Fifth Avenue cape? Yes. Yes. It'd be beautiful. Yeah, the only thing is, you guys, is... you know, when I was talking last night about putting those strips in, I'd probably not try to do a pocket. I think the pocket could get, well, I don't know. I mean, I did my bomber jacket. I love that thing. I mean, I love that bomber jacket. And I didn't care how much time it took me. I was just driven. I wanted a fur bomber jacket, and now it's done. I just love it. You know, and I thought about it. Did I want to line it? Well, I don't know. I mean, nobody's gonna be looking inside of it, and it's fine for me. So maybe I'll get bored one day and decide to line it. But so far, no. All right. Anything else we can answer for you, you guys? The fur is beautiful, isn't it? For those of you who have gotten the fur, it is absolutely gorgeous. It's fun to work with. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful to work with that kind of quality, I think, is what's really nice. Okay. Anything else? I'll wait just a minute. These are fun, you guys. I love that you're here. I appreciate that you're here. When will you be doing the 927 sew along for the fur? Oh, I won't do the 927 fur. I won't use the 927 pattern. It's just too time consuming. I want to pick something. We'll do a sew along, and we'll probably do it not. So this week I'm in Seattle. Next week I'm in New York. The following week is when we're scheduled to do that sew along. I mean, you know, we don't have it on the agenda yet, so don't hold me to that. But the following week is, well, we have a webcast that I don't know, you guys. We're doing my best. I'm doing my best. Got a bunch going back here. But we won't do the 927. We won't do that jacket with the fur. It just takes too much time. I want to do some quick, easy projects for the sew along. That's why I haven't picked the pattern yet. We'll do a fur sew along, but I want to do I want to do something quick and fun. Okay. The 927, it took me a day to make that. It took me all day long to make that 927. Now, that's not a bad thing. I've told you I was determined to have it, but I was just determined. Will you ever make bra patterns? Oh, I missed the other one. I tried to make a muslin for the knit sheath dress, but apparently the muslin knit I used was too tight and it was huge. Does the weight of the knit matter? No, not the weight of the knit, but the stretch of the knit matters. You need to make sure you've got enough stretch for the size you choose. Will you ever make bra patterns? You know, I hate to say never, but there's bra patterns out there that are so good, you know, unless you all tell me they're not. Like Monica Bravo does bra patterns. Hers are outstanding from everything I've heard. So I wasn't trying to do patterns in the first place. I was only trying to fill a hole. And I felt like there was a hole with the pattern companies. I just didn't feel like the patterns were any good. They've gotten a lot better since I've started doing patterns, which is good. So I'm not looking to do bra patterns, you know. Thanks for doing these Q&As. Super helpful. Thank you. Thank you, Nadine. When you go from a smaller upper bust to a larger waist and high hip, do you line up your ruler at the bust and go straight out to larger size? Or do you start angling out further down? Well, I think what you ought to do is you ought to make a muslin and put the seams to the outside. And then just open up the seams and drape them closed. And then it'll tell you exactly that's what I would do. If I were in a workshop and draping you, and you put on a princess seam. This is Giorgio's top. So let's say you put on Giorgio's top and you put it on with the seams to the outside. I would just start, if it was too tight at the bottom, I would just take out all the seams and then literally start draping them closed gradually. And so that I spread that amount that you needed slightly all the way around. And that's what I would do, because that's what draping is all about. It's a fast way of getting your body flat onto the table. And clearly your body's not flat, but you can get exactly the shape by draping. That's why you drape. So that's what I would recommend. Because who knows when your body starts changing. But the fabric will tell you. Will you get some more fur in before the sew along? We're not sold out, are we? I mean, I hope we're not sold out. So I think we still have some. Where's a good place to source buttons? Benno's. Oh my gosh, Benno's buttons, you guys. It's not the good place. It's a great place. Benno's buttons, absolutely. How do you decide what to put a lining in? I'm from the old school. We would line most weighted fabrics. Most weighted fabrics. Garments today are rarely lined. What's your take on that? You know, lining is cosmetic. It's just a finish. I'm going to line something that's closer to my body, that I have a hard time, you know, like a jacket. If I have a hard time getting my arm down the sleeve because it's small, I want slip. I want some slip in the fabric. So cosmetically, we don't need to line anymore because we have sergers. We have French seams. We have, lining is just cosmetic. Is all it is. It is literally a cosmetic finish to the garment. In past years, it was thought to be upper epsilon. It's not anymore. It's really not, because there's many very, very expensive garments that are unlined that are beautiful because the workings of the inside show. And the back of the fabrics today are so beautiful that you see the backs of those fabrics. So, I mean, I line jackets every time, all the time. And I mean jackets, not like my bomber jacket. That's like a jean jacket to me. It's like a blouse. So I'm not going to line that, but I still line all of my jackets. There's some that we've put out that are unlined jackets that I think are really nice. But it's really just your personal taste. If you like a lined jacket, line. And, for me, I like it, and sometimes I don't like it. So there's probably not a reason or rhyme as to where I do that. I love the sew-alongs. Even if I don't sew with you, the demos help with the hard-to-understand part. I totally agree. Totally agree. I mean, listen, I'm doing my best to schedule some sew-alongs. I really am, you guys. I'm struggling with time. I just don't have enough. But I love the sew-alongs. I love doing them. Organizing them and getting them is difficult, but we will have one. And, hopefully we'll have a couple of them, because I want to do the new patterns and I want to do a sew-along with each of the new patterns, okay? Please explain a little more about the stretch of the knit. That's probably too generic a question. Can you fine-tune that? The stretch of the knit, I'm not sure what you mean by that. What of the patterns offhand would be nice for the gunmetal knit you just posted yesterday? Well, interestingly, I was going to do the new one. I was going to do 422. Not 422, I'm sorry. I was going to do 223. 223, that gunmetal knit. And I didn't do 223, and the reason I didn't do it is because 223 is very close fitting. And when you do 223, when you do a very close fitting knit with a shiny fabric like that gunmetal knit is, my concern was I would get a little slutty look. Okay, so now, excuse my terminology, but y'all know what I'm talking about. It's a little more, I don't know, just kind of prostitute-y look. I didn't want to look like a prostitute. So that's why I decided with a shiny fabric like that, for me, I wanted to go with a softer pattern, with a softer look. So I think Giorgio's top 312 would be good. I think there's a lot of them, or make them a little larger, but I loved 422. I thought that fabric pattern combination, but you could do any of those knits, and that fabric is just beautiful. It's really nice. Let's see. How do you spell the button place? Bennos, B-E-N-N-O-S. Bennos, B as in boy, E-N-N-O-S as in Sam. Bennos buttons. Just Google it, you'll get it. Bennos buttons. I couldn't hear very well. Yeah, no problem. Bennos. Yeah, somebody, B-E-N, somebody just wrote it. Thank you, Marcy. Are the new cargo pants loose fitting? No. No, they're not loose fitting. They're a smaller leg than anything woven we've got. Good evening. Is it possible to reload the video of the interfacing tutorial for sleeve caps because the sound is gone? We actually knew that. We knew that. Then yeah, we'll get it redone. It's on my list. It's actually on my list. Again, it goes back to time. I gotta find some time. Don't want that look. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, some do want the look. I mean, listen, I've been to lots of parties lately, and there's plenty of women who want the look, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not the look I want. I just not the look I want. So I don't think there's anything wrong if somebody wants that look. I really don't. I'll show you how to get it. You take that gunmetal and you make it up in like a sweater set, $195. Oh, 123. That was the other one I was thinking of. That'd be so pretty in that gunmetal. Is the new one, the 123, I think it is, that has that dual drape. Oh, I think that would have been beautiful. I almost did that one. And then I decided not to. But those shiny fabrics will show every extra fluff in my fit. I love the gunmetal look. So they don't show that much if you don't make them tight. They really don't show that much. They're just pretty. They're really pretty. The fabric is very beautiful. Are the new patterns of 4 on the way? The new patterns of 4 have been shipped for a month, haven't they? What is it? This is October? They were shipped in September. I don't know. Yes, they're definitely more on the way. Everybody should have their patterns by now. Maybe not international, but everybody else should have them. Thank you so much. That look wouldn't work for me. That's all I was thinking. All right, ladies, I'm going to bid goodnight. Like I said, I wanted to keep these to 30 minutes so people can watch them and get the answers they need. I love you all being here. I appreciate your questions. You're always welcome to email me, Peggy at silhouettepatterns.com. And, we'll just answer them and we'll go, not next week, 2 weeks. We'll go 2 weeks from tonight. Well, for Thursday. We'll get back on Thursday, okay? You just got your fall patterns yesterday? Huh. Wow. No, we've mailed them, last week. I mean, they've been out for a couple weeks. Huh. Just hang in. You're from California. I don't know. All right. Thanks, you guys. Hey, come to Barcelona with us. Yeah, let's go to Barcelona. You guys, we're doing fashion. It's going to be fun. All right. Later. Thank you, guys. Bye.